Bart Curtis Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Bart Curtis Show. We're going to be talking to Coach here pretty soon, but before we get a chance to talk to Coach, we had a chance to talk to some of our players about last night's game and also about the upcoming state tournament series. And welcome back to the Bart Curtis Show. We're now with three of our players here from the Warsaw Tiger football team, and I'm going to let each one of them introduce themselves to you.
I'm Gage Lyon.
I'm Jaden Brock.
I'm Parker Davenport.
All right, guys, why don't you tell us, first of all, just what your jobs are on the football team and the things that you do?
I'm an outside linebacker. I play Willa and Sam. I feel like I have a leadership role on this team, and yeah.
It's kind of come into your own there, certainly this year for sure, Gage. Jaden, what about you? What are your jobs?
I play middle linebacker and sometimes outside linebacker, and my responsibility is just like lift up the team, make sure they're all keep their heads up and never get
ready
down.
To play, huh?
Yep.
Absolutely. And finally?
Parker Davenport. I play defensive end, mostly weak side, but job is to protect my linebackers and make sure that they can get where they need to be.
Very good. All right, guys, we'll talk a little bit about the game last night. Of course, we're all disappointed with the results from that. But let's talk about what Tiger football has kind of meant to you guys and what's going on this past year and how you feel about what's going on.
In this past year, I feel like the culture's really changed, even from last year with Coach Curtis being here. I love it. I think it's a great environment to be around, and there's a bond with these guys that there's no other.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand exactly what you're talking about. Jay, what about you?
So I didn't really play last year, but from my sophomore year to this year, I feel like it's amazing. I love every single one of my teammates, and I'm happy to be on this team.
Absolutely. Parker, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the culture has definitely changed. We've gotten a lot more into definitely the football program and been supporting it the best we can. The teammates I have are definitely my family.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, one thing too, and we don't want to spend a lot of time talking about. Obviously, the Concord game was a disappointment for everybody there, but it's also a lesson that you learn too, because bad things happen to us in life, and if this is the worst thing that ever happens to us, we'll count ourselves very lucky for sure. But nevertheless, it's still very disappointing for everyone, especially given the fact that the first half it didn't look like the Tigers were really in rhythm with the thing, and then the second half you guys really kind of took off. What do you think the reason for that was? You got any ideas?
Well, like you said, in the first half we just didn't come out ready to play. We weren't focused or locked in. We just came out hesitant, waiting for them to hit us instead of us hitting them, and felt that way.
Yeah. And then second half, I felt like you guys came out there and said, hey, let's get ready to rock and roll, and you guys really did. Jay, your thoughts on that?
So our leaders really stepped up during the halftime. We had so many guys step up and tell us what needs to happen and how we're going to do it, and it just, when we went out there, it just took off.
Absolutely. Parker, what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I think definitely in the first half, our mindset definitely wasn't what it needed to be. But coming into the second half, I think we got in check, and we sure came out flying. Oh,
absolutely. I think so, too. There's no question about that. And, maybe if you had a little more time on the clock, the results might have been a little bit different for sure. But, that's something, like I said, we learned some lessons from it there. We'll watch a lot of tape, and you guys have got actually a couple weeks of practice here to get ready for the first round of sectional, which is, as they always say, it's a whole new season for that. So we're looking forward to that. Some goals you got here for this next couple weeks, guys, just generally speaking?
I really want to push my teammates just to become the best players that they are, and I want this sectional championship.
Absolutely. Jay?
Yeah, basically like the same with Gage. I really, really want this sectional championship.
Yep. All right. And Parker, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think having these weeks, we definitely have a lot of time we can lock in and really get to do what we need to do. And I think this sectional championship, if we did win this, it would be a big moment.
Yeah, it'd be historic, no question about it for you guys there. And I do think the Tigers can do this, but it's going to take a couple weeks of good focus here. Also allows you guys to have a week of where you kind of heal up there and get ready, and also gives us plenty of good time here to work with the coaches, coaching staff, and work with each other, and make improvements where improvements need to be made, and get things all squared around as we head up. Thanks a lot for being with us today, guys. We really appreciate it. I just want to say, as a coach and watching you guys progress and going through the season, it's been a pleasure to see you guys work together. Obviously, we've had some disappointments, but that's kind of what life is about too. And the big question is, how do you respond to the disappointments? And we've got a couple weeks here, like you guys have said, to get ready to square off with Chesterton up at Chesterton, and that will be a challenge, of course, because they're a good football team. Make things go right there and take one game at a time and see just how far we can go in this state tournament series. Thanks for being with us, guys, and good luck to you guys as we head into the state championship series.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
And now back for more of the Bart Curtis Show. Welcome back, everyone, to the Bart Curtis Show. And we're talking now to the head coach of the Warsaw Tigers, Coach Bart Curtis. And, Coach, we were talking before we started this. I hate doing these interviews after we lose, but, it's all part of the game. And, there are things to be learned from it and things that we can, improve on and get ready for the next round.
Coach, it is far more enjoyable after a win.
Amen.
And I know that I called you mid-morning yesterday, and I said, can we wait one day to do the taping? We've been doing it on Saturdays, and a wise man once told me, when you win, say little. When you lose, say nothing.
Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah.
And there are some times when I need to take that advice myself. And yesterday I was wise, and I don't ever want to say anything that,
Sure.
in the heat of the moment.
Right.
And, I was still
Yeah.
burning a little bit
Right.
yesterday, and
Sure.
still am today. But
Yeah.
you know what? You got to get up. You got to go on.
Right. Absolutely.
And you got to move forward. And
Yeah. Well, to tell the truth, I wasn't feeling much like interviewing yesterday, and we both, of course, being the head coach, you suffer from it more than anybody else.
Well.
But we all, it's just a tough situation. And I was thinking, there's been thousands of books written on sports psychology, and the psychology of that game just would blow people's minds, because the first half it looked like we weren't sure what was going on. In the second half, the light switch went on, and the Tigers played good football.
we did. We played somewhat inspired the second half, and obviously completely uninspired, and very erratically the first half. And I'm sure you've got cut-ups that
Absolutely.
do good, and the good, the bad, and
Sure, and I show that always.
And it just
the first half looks like a Concord highlight film almost.
and that's first off, congratulations to them.
Oh, absolutely.
For the way they prepared their kids and the manner in which they conducted business when they came out.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And we did not conduct business in that manner at all. We looked disinterested at best,
Right.
lethargic at most, and ultimately that comes down to how we're preparing the kids and how I'm preparing the coaches to prepare the kids. So, it doesn't go farther up the ladder than myself. So I'll take full responsibility for how we played and how we came out. And if I knew the answer right now, I would say that we would go back and do it differently.
Right. Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you don't get second chances in this game.
And I interviewed in the interview that people, our audience watched an interview before we were doing this interview with the kids, and the kids even said themselves, Gage and Jayden and Parker were all talking about the fact, we just didn't seem like we're focused. We weren't in rhythm to do what we needed to do the first half.
And if that's the case, then that's the adult's fault, and the head adult would be me. So
Well,
I got to do a better job of preparing coaches to prepare kids, and I got to do a better job preparing kids, apparently. So I will tell you, our ritual was not any different than what it had been. Thursday's practice was a little odd, but by that point you should have no.
right.
Now I will tell you, the game itself was fast. They came out and they play fast. They punched us in the mouth from the get-go, and we took it, and we appeared to like it.
Right.
And, during the first half appeared to ask for more.
Right.
And gave little to no resistance. And then second half looked like we were, like I said, interested
Right.
and somewhat physical. You're not going to beat, and I've heard you say this before, so no disrespect. The way we played the first half, we're not going to beat Miller's Mary Manor.
Yeah, really. I actually had one kid tell me a week or so on the freshman team, he goes, for a while, Coach, I thought Miller's Mary Manor had a football team. And I said, well, if they did, they could beat us here, But
if we don't play any better, I may be going down there recruiting.
Well, Coach, but there is some good from the bad. I mean, in the second half, I thought there were some admirable efforts made by our quarterback. Wyatt did a fantastic job. Juan, of course, is in there pitching March. And all just generally across the board. The offensive line woke up and was getting some things done. And obviously the defense shut them out the second half.
And, obviously we had the ball. Defense played only 20 snaps the second half, which is where we want to be.
Absolutely, yeah.
Our defense defended 43 of Concord snaps the first half. That is not where we want to be.
Right.
So we had the ball as many times as Concord did. And, you got to give credit. You can't just say, WARSAW played poorly and, we weren't prepared or we weren't interested. Maybe those three things were all true. But you've got to give credit to the manner in which Concord aligned and played defensively. Because I'm going to tell you what, I've known Craig for a long time, Coach Kaler, and the Concord staff. And, they had a burr up their tail a year ago.
Oh, sure.
We put 45 on them and could have put 50 on them.
Right.
And I guarantee they spent some time between December and July trying to put together the best
game plan for the Tigers,
defensive package they could.
Sure.
They did a great job, and it took a little while to figure out what they were doing and what their keys were.
Typically, Coach, though, to the credit of, the offensive unit and the defensive unit too, of course, but, when you fall behind with our kind of offense, it's hard to catch up, and that's no secret to anybody. And the Tigers they were like inches away from getting the first down that could have led to the winning touchdown.
Well, and we had the ball with 3 minutes to go with a chance to win the football game. And after the first half that we played, you really couldn't ask for a lot more.
Absolutely.
Now, a little piggyback off what you said. I've been in those situations before, and I think 3 is the magic number. 4, I've not done that. I've not been a part of a team that's done that. I've been down 3 scores before, half and third quarter, and been able to coach teams to come back and win.
Sure.
4 scores, it seems like it's a bit much.
Right.
We still had the opportunity.
Sure.
Now, and you go back and you look at the opportunities we had the first half. What if?
Yeah.
What if we get one stop?
Oh, yeah.
What if we...
A kickoff return would have counted.
Right. Well, we end up scoring after that,
right.
But that's 3 or 4 minutes we might have had back at the end of the half to maybe score getting hit.
Right. There's a lot of variables.
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs and buts, and ifs the biggest word in the Bible.
Right.
And we had our chances, and to piggyback and to talk about what you said, it's not a quick strike offense, although it can be.
Sure. Absolutely.
A couple things when you're down like that at half that you got to have an inspired effort all the way around, from adults and kids. You've got to have one big play, which we did.
Right.
57-yard toss pass to Martz.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have one turnover, which we got. Now it was a 4th and 3, and Zach DeFord recovered a fumble.
Right.
We got the ball back. And you've got to make one great special teams play. And, obviously kicking the ball out of the back of the end zone constitutes that. So,
sure.
Everything was in line for a great comeback, and credit to Concord. They bent, they didn't break. They made us use time off the clock.
Right.
And when we got it to 34-20 after the pass, and it was still 6 minutes to go in third quarter, I thought we've got a shot.
Yeah.
We got to play great, but we've got a shot.
Sure.
Disappointing, probably as disappointing a loss as I've been involved with in my. What have I been here? 19 games. Almost 2 seasons. So, as disappointing a loss as I've been a part of, just because to top things off, then we booted away a chance at the conference championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Northwood did beat Plymouth 40-20 on over there at Plymouth.
They did. It's not catastrophic. It's
No.
not the end of the season. The sun did come up,
Yep, it did.
although I wish that it had waited and maybe came up later. But
Well,
we'll move forward. There's a lot of football left to play. We get a little breather now, just
right.
I don't want to use the term breather because we're not backing off the kids.
No,
or
not
our
at all.
preparation, but we get a chance to take a breath with a bye week and focus all our efforts for 5 days on Warsaw, and then to focus all our efforts on not only Warsaw but Chesterton.
Yeah, absolutely. Get a chance to heal everybody up, and pretty much, and get mentally right. And I know that you and the staff will be working hard to get that done for sure. And then to focus on Chesterton like a laser, which you guys will do, taking the film apart and looking things over and preparing. I mean, I've watched those staff in action, and really get after it as far as it goes to preparation. So certainly a credit to you and the entire staff.
I know a little bit about Chesterton. I've seen them in person at camps. Coach Snyder was the head coach for a long time. Coach Peterson's now the head coach. I've known him for a while. They're going to be well prepared. I don't believe from the film that I've seen that they have a great interest in running the football.
Right.
Now I said that to Coach Huber, Coach Huffer, and Coach Callhorn.
Right.
And they said, you said the same thing about Concord.
Right.
They appeared to be, and they rushed for 200 yards on the Tiger defense. So we've got to prepare for everything. Obviously, Chesterton has a sophomore quarterback, big, tall kid that can fling it around a little
Right.
bit. They have tall receivers, athletic receivers, and we're going to have to be at our best to win it, to be quite honest.
Absolutely, sure. Well, it's state championship play, and the old cliche, everyone's 0-0, which is true, in the whole new season. So it's going to be a battle. I'm glad that we do have a couple weeks here to prepare for this, and certainly wish you the best of luck, Coach, as we head in that competition.
Appreciate that, Dave. And one thing that I kind of moved on from when you talked about the efforts of the kids in the second half. I did against Concord. I did see a little spit in their eye.
Yeah.
I saw them fight back. You mentioned Wyatt Amos. He was scrapping in there. Juan was scrapping. Our
Absolutely.
defense was scrapping. Our O-line was scrapping.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave you with this. Even though we didn't get the desired result, and even though we didn't come out and play what we would call Tiger football,
Right.
we did show that it means an awful lot to
Sure.
us,
Yeah.
and that we have it in us to do it.
Right.
We just got to do the right things all the time. I told the kids, everything matters.
Right.
Play 1 matters, play 152 matters. How you prepare matters.
Mm-hmm.
How you eat lunch in the cafeteria matters. How you ride the bus to and from the games matters.
Sure.
Everything matters.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're not there to where
Right.
I think the kids believe that.
Yeah. Well, and consistency. I mean, we've been around long enough there. I mean, that's what you strive for in any. I don't care what team you're coaching. You want them to be consistent at what they're doing, and lack of consistency can cause problems. for
Lack
sure.
of consistency comes down to nothing more than a lack of focus and preparation.
Mm-hmm.
I've never bought into, hey, we weren't ready, or they took us by surprise or something like that. I've never bought into
No.
that. If you have a consistent effort and you're locked in and you can concentrate, kids can't concentrate these days. So
Right.
shoot, adults can't
It's
concentrate.
tough. Well, it's tough. Absolutely.
They've got everything in the world to detract them, from phones to
Our computers, internet,
to talk,
you name it.
to frivolousness.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the kind of guy that doesn't allow kids to be kids.
Sure.
That's not me. But we've got to focus and take constructive criticism better.
Sure. Yeah.
And body language is huge. Our body language the first half, we were moping around.
Right. Right.
We had the deer in the headlights look.
Mm-hmm.
And unless we're willing to accept that and change that, we'll have more of that.
Right. Right. Well, Coach, best of luck to you as we head into the state tournament series there. Again, it's 2 weeks. We will be playing at Chesterton. The kickoff time is going to be 7:30.
Eastern time, 6:30.
Okay, 6:30 their time, so that's something to keep in mind. You got any restaurant recommendations for up there or not?
Well, there is a great burrito place in Valparaiso,
Okay.
which is just about 10 miles away.
Right, okay. Well, Coach, thanks for being with us.
Amigos.
El Amigos,
Yes.
okay, all right. We'll talk to them, but I got some royalty checks on that one. But anyway, thanks a lot, Coach, for being with us. We do want to remind everyone there will be a Bart Curtis show next Monday. It'll be kind of a special edition because we won't be talking about a game, but we do have some things we want to talk about, like we want to talk to the Young Tigers coaches, and they had their awards program, and you were there, and
Sunday.
yeah, and we'll have some pictures from that, and we'll also got some other things that we've got in the back of our mind here of who we're going to talk to, and on next week's show is we have that week off there, and then preparing to head up to Chesterton. So that's what's going to be happening for the Bart Curtis show. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in this week and support our Tigers, and we're in the fight. It's 0-0, and we're going after a sectional title. We start with Chesterton.
We do. And God willing, the two of us, will be sitting here a week from today shooting the show.
Yeah,
Tomorrow's
absolutely.
guaranteed to no man, but I plan on being here, and I plan on you being here.
I'm going to do my best, Coach.
Okay.
All right. Thanks again, Coach. That's all we have for you for the Bart Curtis Show this week. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in, and everyone have a super-duper week, and go Tigers.